I was confused, I was shocked, I was perplexed when I saw an article. Was not my first time seeing this kind of article, talking about Zimbabwean government compensating the white farmers that were displaced by the Robert Mugabe regime. Definitely not an expert on this topic, but as a citizen of Africa, as I'd love to call myself, as a Black African, um, I just want to give my reaction, my opinion, and how I feel about it. There could be clever reasoning behind all this, but to me, as an average person, to you and me as average Africans, what do you take off of this? What do you make of this? I always say I'm pro-African. I'm a Pan-Africanist at heart. I love Africa. I love the idea that as Africans we should empower ourselves. We should become strong and independent of the West, and we should resist and decolonize our countries, ourselves, and our minds, and the rest of it. But to hear the news that the Zimbabwean government, I thought that was the best. I mean, in comparison, if you look at the situation in South Africa, where independence was obtained and Nelson Mandela chose not to take back the land immediately. I would say immediately for a reason. Maybe people still want to say it's going to happen still, but let's say he didn't choose to take the land immediately. But Robert Mugabe decided to take this route. We praised um, the idea. We always speak of it as a great thing. That, you know what, that showed the strength of us as Africans to say, if we have gained back our independence from the colonizer, then the colonizer must give back the idea of fighting for independence. When a conqueror or a country comes and conquer a kingdom, comes and conquer you and take over what is yours, when you fight back and you gain back your independence, your sovereignty, it means you must get back whatever the conqueror had taken from you, or the colonizer in this context. So it was not a wrong thing for Robert Mugabe to go on and say and claim back the land from the British. But unfortunately, it leaves me confused as a young person, as a young African person who aspires to be a leader, who aspires to influence, who aspires to stand, to be proud of ourselves as Africans. I don't understand when this conversation becomes into play. Maybe I just need someone to educate me and explain why this has to be. Why do we have to compensate to the white farmers who took the land from the first place? They didn't take it. They didn't buy it. They took it by force. They displaced our people. They killed some of our black people in order to gain that land back. 20 years later, after we gain our independence, why do we go back to them, and what are we begging for? are, are we not, is this now a proof of concept? Is this now proving that the decision to take back the land was wrong from the start? Or does it mean that we have failed to cultivate our land and build our own nations on our own? It leaves a big question whether we are now throwing away the efforts and the gains that we have made, or what Robert Mugabe had achieved. Now we're reversing that back. Uh, Probably not. We're not giving back the land, but the cost of compensating, giving the billions of dollars that we have to compensate for this, it also leaves a big question. Why did we have to capitulate and bow down to the conditions that we have to compensate? it shows that even if we're trying to make the relationship great between the West and Africans, it shows that we need them more than they need us. Why do we need them so bad to the point that we have to pay even if we didn't have to? On a moral scale, there is no reason to compensate for anything because this is our land that we're getting, we took back. Why do we have to pay for it now? And also leaves a big question whether, if since South Africa hasn't done it, whether they should even bother, because from the beginning of from the start, if you look at the circumstances, the economic situation in Zimbabwe tells you that it could be because of so many other things, there's so many other reasons why the economic situation is like that. But obviously sanctions played a big role in destabilizing the economy and the relations between the West. So it leaves the question whether is it's a good idea at all, whether South Africa should even try and go that route of taking the land back.